I want to ask you about stewarding revival. Even from an apostle's point of view, what is the role of an apostle in stewarding revival? We have a lot of younger leaders who perhaps didn't go through the Toronto season, and we feel like we're on the verge of something again. Like we feel like the Lord wants to pour out again. I feel like He's preparing us and aligning us and correcting us for another great outpouring, whatever He chooses for that to look like, we don't know. But what would be your advice to the next generation of leaders who are going to be stepping into having to steward this next revival? What would your advice be to them?
You can't put your hands on the ark. A move of God is not to be commandeered by leaders. We acknowledge, we follow. We make sure we don't interfere. We don't direct. Sometimes He shows up in joy, sometimes it shows up with weeping. Don't pick your favorite and pursue it. Follow Him.
Wow.
Leaders in those moments are followers. We may be leading people, but it's not because we're trying. We're leading people because we're actually following. Sometimes our position, our authority, our responsibility gives us a view of something that others don't see. It's a view of the movement of the Spirit of God. He's doing this, He's going this direction. And sometimes it's not by our spirituality, it's by our position. I don't know if that makes sense. You have a God-given position in life, and with that position comes a perspective that you wouldn't have without that position. It's a grace that God gives you for your assignment. And so when we are leading, it's paramount that we learn to become ultra-sensitive to the Holy Spirit Himself. And I'll be honest with you, we would, year after year, we would do our best and sometimes nail it, and sometimes at the end of the day wonder if we got it right because it wasn't clear. Sometimes the Lord will give such a clear direction, sometimes He says nothing. And it's never punishment. He's never silent out of punishment. If He's silent, it's because He's already given me the tools. And I just have to recall to mind what I need to recall to make this next decision or this next direction. Or learn to not be anxious and take a direction at all. Let Him just do what He's doing. And that's the movement of the Holy Spirit requires great respect. There's a great book on the Holy Spirit, on the movement of the Holy Spirit by William D. Ortega, if I remember right. And it basically said this, that no revival ever ended because of excess. It only ended because of control. And what happens is we pay a price, the Spirit of God begins to move powerfully, it gets expensive, and I don't mean financially, although it becomes expensive with friends and family and the reputations and the opposition and all that stuff. And in the name of wisdom, we put our hands on the ark to try to give direction. And that's a scary thing to do because it ends the move. The Lord will not share His glory. In that sense, He won't let me be with Him in that role. He alone is Lord. I am subject.